Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Space 2. I am loving this new music. So let's get in here and figure out what's going on. First of all, the tooltip bug went away. It seems like if you are afflicted by this, you might be able to fix it by saving your game, quitting, and then restarting the game and reloading. It's definitely not a thing that plagues an entire save file. So hopefully it won't be a problem for us going further. As you can see, 3 extra industry per citizen on planets with strategic deposits, plus 1 extra industry per citizen flat. So this will be quite a bit of extra industry here on Nexus, and we hit the food threshold to have our 3rd citizen born. So things are coming along splendidly-ish. Pretty splendidly. Fairly splendidly. We're working toward, in 3 turns we'll have rare earth foams, hopefully not too long after that. PEV scale accelerators. It won't actually be 8 turns to get this, because remember, the cost of it will go down once we have rare earth foams. And then we'll get to try out sanctuary building, hopefully. Is there anything else of great importance? It is worth noting that we discovered a sneaky little hidden star system out here with a single huge gas world around it. It's a good idea to fire off a lot of probes in a lot of random directions at the beginning of the game. Yeah, for now I guess we're just continuing forward. We're not too far from being able to try to assimilate these guys. Ooh, although our Curiosity and Hack are both going to end next turn with us at 45 45 relation with them. Well, we could praise them after those things end, probably. Still, just get us to 50 that way. Yeah, now that we don't have a bunch of positive effects on them, the praise is quite cheap. We could just wait 5 turns. I suppose that would be the smart thing to do. We have become cordial with the Cephaloros, which is to say they are now paying for the privilege of our friendship. They're going to pass 50 with their booster up. These guys are going to pass 50 naturally. We did not praise these guys at all, so we could fire some influence into that. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Let's not make that decision just yet. Let's start this turn by flying toward Horatio space. And hey, look at that. We've got a Horatio colony here, an outpost. This is not actually... He hasn't actually settled this world yet. That's why... That's the difference between an outpost and a colony. In 8 turns, this will turn into a proper settlement. And at that point, he will be able to like build stuff in this system. You know, it'll be a full-fledged thing. We could try to do something about that. I believe if we came out of stealth, we might be able to blockade the world and stop the food shipments that are coming in. Probably not worth doing, honestly. I don't think it's worth revealing ourselves. We can see the edge of a bubble of influence here. Hello. So these Harmony have the mineral structure trait, which lowers, wow, 20% of our dust upkeep on our buildings just goes away, huh? That's not bad. That's not a bad trait at all. We could try praising these guys. My concern with this is that Horatio probably knows these dudes are here because you can see their influence bubble from that system. So, if we pump a bunch of resources into helping them, we still might end up not being able to assimilate them because Horatio might do it first. He might already be working on them. So yeah, let's go ahead and use our influence down here, I think. We'll just keep trying to grab these guys who, as far as we know, are not affected by other players yet. I mean, that's an assumption. We don't know that for sure. And let us continue exploring. We're going to figure out where Horatio is, and then we're going to hack it, probably. Okay. So our hack is going here. It said when we moused, or when I moused over that, CRL 2688 hacked, but I think it's talking about the hacking operation that's going to Takim. I think that operation passed CRL 2688. The one that's still going, the one that's going to there, still has 2 turns left, I believe. All right, let us continue on here. So we now have considerably more industry after having finished our interplanetary transport network. That's going to make this conversion to a duo crescent pretty easy. We really need better research speed. I think Do I value this over that? No, let's get this done. This is going to be, right now, 3 extra industry and 3 extra science and 3 extra influence. You know, that actually is kind of a minor gain, isn't it? Now, let's stick to it. Alright, let's see what our ships reveal over here. Oh, Pavo has become a pirate system. We're going to have to deal with pirates. Also, that's a player vessel. We've discovered a United Empire ship. Alright, all of a sudden the galaxy's starting to feel like a real crowded place. Alright, so we're on Horatio's stuff here. This honestly could be his capital this early in the game. It's good for us to know stuff about Horatio without him knowing stuff about us. And somewhere out there, there's a United Empire player with a massive beard and a poor disposition. So we've got a couple of pirate systems up now. We gotta talk about this.
Speak.
Periodically, these pirate systems are going to produce pirate ships. Then those pirate ships are going to go out to inhabited systems and just maraud, you know, generally blow stuff up and be a huge pain. There's a couple of ways we could deal with this. We could build some warships and go over to the pirate systems and just destroy the pirate bases. And doing so, in addition to making this area of space safer for us, gets us some money. We also could, as you saw on that screen, try to engage in some diplomacy with them. We could funnel money to them to increase our standing with them while simultaneously making them more powerful, so they won't bother us and they will be a bigger problem for other players. I bet, though, that we can use the hacking system to interact with them as well. That's my preference. Let's see if we can, as soon as we have a hacking operation available, let's try to send one to the pirate base and see what we can do. I'm very, very curious what might come of that. Alright, so 4 turns on the PEV scale accelerators. We have hacked CRL 2688. We are definitely going to allocate 20 bandwidth to the installation of a transmigration beacon. We still have a little bit of bandwidth left over. And let's fire a hacking operation from here over to here. We might want to install a backdoor on Jane so that we can run our operations directly from there. Would speed things up a little bit. Alright, we have in fact discovered the world of Horatio Prime, and also Horatio's other system. Taken up a lot of territory here. I guess it's not really a concern for us. It's not like we're competing with him for space. Another thing we could do to speed up our hacks, I guess, is like actually try to move our civilization over to CRL 2688. It's probably not, like, our civilization's fine where it is. Probably. I guess there's nothing really binding us here, though, is there? The only thing that's valuable about our position is the way that it affects our hack speed, right? I mean, eventually, also, security from other players, but right now they can't know where we are. We could be right next to them and be perfectly safe. Yeah, maybe it is worth relocating when the beacon's powered up. And we've already explored 20% of the galaxy. Wild. Our ships are fast, and they are really loaded down with probes. Alright. Do we see any Mediterranean worlds anywhere? This is a little chilly for Mediterranean. What do you got over here? That world is a forest world. Toxic lava savanna. That's a Mediterranean world, but it's colonized. I'm not sure how the sanctuary stuff works. I assume we cannot build a sanctuary on a planet that is colonized. I wonder if we can make a sanctuary in a system that's colonized, but on an uncolonized world. Well, we'll figure it out. Also, I wonder, like, do I need a ship present to do that, or... We've discovered the planet Psychagogia. This lushly forested world was once a major center of the Endless. Oddly, it was a center both of medical research and of entertainment, for it was here that the avian race called the Hisha were first modified to be more effective warriors, and then trained to provide blood sport spectacles for bored audiences. The wealth brought by the broadcasts was rolled back into the research facilities, and some to the Hisho themselves. Who knows how long this media symbiosis might have gone on had a virtual attack not destroyed the infrastructure and cut the Hisho free to forge their own destiny, which became a whole complicated thing in itself. There's an awful lot of history, actually, behind this game. So that very fancy planet is way out here, and it's a type of world we can colonize. Okay, so we have to send a hacking operation to it. Is that how it works? Yeah, I'd have to hack this system to create a sanctuary. Okay, that's very interesting. We've also discovered a destroyed world just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, orbiting nothing. Huh. Strange. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Weird. Alright, well, I would like to have access to this. I'm assuming that we can't send a hack here anyway because we have no star lanes to it. I probably cannot send hacks to places that we couldn't actually move a ship. So the technology that lets us move in space without using the star lanes might have just gained some importance. Oh, also, I should pay attention to our ships when I tell them to move. There's a curiosity over here. It's probably a deposit of some kind. So if we explore this, we're just revealing it for Horatio. But also, we'll get a little bit of whatever it is. And there's a chance it could just be loot instead. And I mean, he's going to be able to explore it. Yeah, let's just go ahead and grab this on the off chance that it's loot. It was. Okay. A manpower module for our ships. That's actually a pretty good find. We got really lucky there. Alright, and then how many probes do we have left? A bunch? Did I not? Oh no, it's because I had the other thing selected. We have 3 probes left. Let's just fire probes into space and see if we can't discover more cool stuff. My favorite part of every 4X game, always, is the exploration part, and part of what I really like about Endless Space is that they've managed to make the exploration, and this is true of Endless Legend to some degree too, with like the way that the ruins work. They managed to make the exploration part last a lot longer than it does in most 4X games, which obviously is real good for me. Alright, so we've got our thing upgraded. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to go see that. Does it look really cool now? It does look pretty cool. Can we go further? I might have to... I bet we can go further, but we have to research more stuff for it. Let's actually have a look here. Texts that have the word crescent in them, maybe? No. How about solo, duo, trio? There's a tech that has the word trio in it. No, this is not what I'm looking... Ah, it's seeing the TRIO in Patriot. Okay, maybe there's not a way to upgrade the crescents more, or maybe I'm just not... I just don't know what the word is to search. Well, whatever. Okay, so once we have interstitial sciences up, we could get an approval boost, and 10 approval at this point is enough to move us up a tier of approval. Although, actually, we could just cancel our law, couldn't we? Because at this point, with us running 3... No, sorry, it's -2 approval per population. So this is -6 approval right now, because we have 3 population. It would only take our approval up to 59. So no, canceling that law would not help at the moment. Alright, let's get infinite supermarkets next. We'll move ourselves up to happy, get a little bit more resource output that way. And you, I honestly don't know what to do. I guess there's not really anything to do with this unit right now. I'm going to head back here. Alright, our hacking operation has reached Takim. So it looks like I was wrong the other time that the operation CRL 2688 had to get there and then hang out for a couple of turns. So that's the stage we're at with Takim right now. It has reached Takim, and now it is actually hacking. Yeah, I guess we're just going to hang out here and wait for a while. I mean, one of them should come home. What I'm thinking is when we develop the ability to move through open space, I want somebody able to go down to Jovanis and Sirius, but I also want somebody available to go down here. So one of you guys is just flying back. We have become cordial with the Deuvians. So what do we want now, research-wise? The ability to free move is right here. And we haven't talked much about how we advance in the wheel. So all of the research is divided into tiers, pretty obviously here. You notice we can't research anything in this tier, because we haven't yet unlocked it by researching enough things in the previous tier. So we've got one tech here, we need 2 more techs in this row in order to unlock the ability to move up. It seems to me, with us being so hacking focused, that continuing to move up the science part of the tree is probably pretty valuable. And we do really want free movement here. So baryonic shielding makes a lot of sense at the moment. What else do we get from this? We get the offensive piggyback hacking program. So we can turn this on. It will reduce the bandwidth cost of our hacking programs. Oh, this is something we have to install in a system first, probably. And then further hacks in that system. Yes, like we execute a system, install the piggyback, and then further hacks in the system are cheaper, I guess. We get our warp drive, we get the ability to colonize savannas, and we get advanced scanners that reveal more curiosities and allow us to explore some of those ones that we could see that we couldn't actually explore yet. Alright, so this has given us the ability to colonize, or to put a sanctuary up on a couple of these worlds. We're 4 turns off of having another hacking operation available. And how's this going? So in 4 turns, this is going to be fully charged. When that happens, is the beacon just going to sit here until I turn it off? Or will it be like, you have to go now or the beacon burns out? I suppose we shall find out. I actually really like this phase of the game where like we're learning all kinds of new stuff. Alright, we are the sovereign of the Cephaloros and of the Galvran, which means we get to take their quests. Somebody else completed a legendary deed before we could. I didn't even look at the legendary deeds yet. So we're getting paid. We gained another point of Umbral Choir population, thanks to our food building. We're moving pretty quickly here. At this point, after we get infinite supermarkets up, we probably want to take over another one of these crescents, because we're starting to get close to our population cap here. They all have the exact same resource output, so we'll just grab the next one. Got a quest here. There are heroes, and there are heroes. Legends of prowess, familiar to all, yet witnessed by none. The heroes of these tall tales are a dime a dozen. But in the leaders you have met, and in the murmurs of your crews and colleagues, there are stories of other heroes. Living heroes, whose actions and efforts have changed the course of battles and bureaucracies, whose actions and decisions have been pivotal in the rise and fall of empires. And when one speaks of these heroes, masters of dust and its vast powers, one also speaks of the place where they studied, where they learned these feats of strength and genius. It is simply referred to as the Academy. Some seem to present it as a center of higher learning, while others mention it in tones more suitable to worship and epiphany. It would be good to know the truth of all this. It would be good if your ships were the first to make formal contact with it and meet its leader, shrouded in mystery. They are as few in number as they are great in power, the heroes of the galaxy. They learned their skills at a place simply referred to as the Academy. Be the first to find this place, and some of its secrets will certainly be yours. So we're all working together on this. Once, as a group, the players have explored 5 atmospheric curiosities. We'll move on to the next stage of the quest, and somebody's getting paid. Unfortunately, we've been pretty thorough with exploring the curiosities around us, so it's unlikely that we will be able to explore anything new. I guess when baryonic shielding completes, maybe we'll be able to hit something new. Alright, so we have that going. Let's talk to our new friends. The Cephaloros. What do they want? We picked up the signal 3 days ago, says the Cephaloros representative. I have no idea what kind of voice what do you call it, a Medusa would have, so I'm not going to try to do a Medusa voice. May I? You wave a hand. The audio is distorted, and an unholy wailing din can be heard in the background, but the speaker's whispered words are clear. Something escaped from the labs, and none of the others have come back. The words suddenly become louder. Somebody has to help us, for all our sakes. The audio stops. How old is that signal, you ask? We have no idea. The signal is of Cephaloros origin, but where it hails from is uncertain. Whatever escaped from the lab should be no match for your experienced explorers, though, if you can locate it. Explore curiosities until you discover the lab. Okay, so if we just keep exploring curiosities, eventually these guys will flip over to us. That's fine. It's going to be easy enough to get. I'm a little annoyed that we can't make intentional progress on it, though. What about you guys? What do you guys want? Something a little bit more straightforward? A powerful cult within the Galvran civilization believed that eldritch, nightmarish kin once traversed the galaxy. Although these kin have now ascended to a higher plane of existence, the cultists are convinced that the relics of their culture still exist in ancient ruins scattered across the stars. Fossilized remains, umbilicals, placentas, cerebral cortices. One especially maniacal cultist confesses that the relics aren't simply dead heirlooms. They are artifacts of great and deadly power. The relics are likely worthless scraps, but if you acquire them for the Galvran, they could give you a great deal of influence. Ancient relics certainly still exist among the stars. An expedition with a sufficiently experienced hero should be able to bring back remnants that will convince the Galvran. So with a level 5 or higher hero, we have to search the curiosities in Izar, and Kerr is right there. A level 5 hero, huh? Well, that's actually going to be a real problem. We cannot do this quest. Is there something else we could do? If we get them to 100 diplomatic relations, we will have the ability to just purchase them into our empire by paying an influence cost. I mean, when our hero gets to level 5, I'll be glad to reassign him to a ship for a little while and do this. It's just that level 5's awfully far away. Also, speaking of having a bunch of influence now, why don't we throw another couple levels of praise on this guy? How far are we from getting your quest? Returns? Okay. Hopefully their quest will be a little bit more straightforward. Also, actually, once we get over here, we have a ton of curiosities to search, so that might allow us to flip the Cephaloros. Alright, an election's coming up. It appears that the pacifist and scientist parties are still holding public opinion. That makes sense. We haven't done anything other than pacifist and scientist type things. Also, there's a lot of loose star systems over here. Well, let's go and explore, shall we? We have our enhanced warp drives now. Travel through the spaces between the star lanes is pretty slow, but our ships are so quick that it might not be an issue. Oh, Vodyani, another player. So the Vodyani and the United Empire are near each other. That might be good for us in the sense that they might be at each other's throats, but it also might be bad for us in the sense that one of them might successfully conquer the other and then be running two empires. I don't know, we'll have to keep an eye on the situation. Sorry, we'll have to get some eyes on the situation, and then once they are there, keep them on that. Alright, so we're expanding. We really need to pick up more stuff to build. We're starting to get to the end of our useful buildings here. So, it might be a good idea to research a cool building. Galactic Belonging will give our empire 1 approval per sanctuary. That does seem useful. And this tech is a facilitating tech for a couple of other ones that we totally will want. Graviton Research and Wave Function Control both give us access to very powerful science buildings. Also, just moving up into the next tier will give us some benefits. We'll be able to see curiosities related to the next tier of luxury resources, as well as getting access to slightly better engine technology that we can build out of all that Hyperium that we're mining. But maybe it's a good idea for us to come over here and get access to some other buildings first. No, let's pick this up. This seems extremely good. Oh man, look, our research rate is actually like reasonable now. We do have this new curiosity available. We can throw this in the queue. So you can explore curiosities on a system that you have colonized by spending industry from the system rather than by having to spend a probe from a ship. We also picked up the ability to specialize our crescents here. Our crescents are cold, so this is 2 science per population point. That seems pretty good. That's all stuff that is worth putting in the queue. So how far away? Still very far away is the answer to my question. We're looking at 6 turns, is that? Yeah, that's a 6. 6 turns before we're back home. I'll keep moving. Alright, let's say hi to these guys. We could praise them and then explore their curiosity, because it'll be cheaper for us to praise them now, because once we have a positive reputation effect on them, the cost of this will go up to 25. But they already have somebody at 50 or higher relations, so I don't think I'm going to spend any resources on them at all. I am going to probe this, because probing this might be value for us. We might get something cool out of it. Oh, and it is an atmospheric curiosity, so it contributes to the Academy quest. We have discovered that this planet has fearful symmetry. You know, like a big tiger in space. And also we've discovered the influential battle tactic, which gives us influence for destroyed ships. Use it if you think you will destroy ships and want to receive influence. Well, alright, that was pretty straightforward. I probably could have worked that one out myself. I think we're just going to fly right to here. There are curiosities there. I want to see what those are about as well. Solo, duo, trio, right? Trio would be the word I would be searching for. Alright, what else do we need to do here? We have 405 dust. We should probably figure out something to do with all this dust. So, in most 4Xs, you can use dust to rush the completion of things in your settlements, right? You can do that here too, but you have to research something that gives you the ability first. So, at the moment, this dust is not really doing a whole lot for us. It's kind of just sitting here. We're acquiring so much of it, it probably behooves us to get the ability to, at the very least, buy out constructions with it. So that might be the thing to research after we get eukaryotic sap up. Alright, so this is going to be a good turn for us. Takim was successfully hacked. We don't really need to... Takim is Cephaloros, right? Yeah, so we don't really need to improve our image with them. Or uncover secrets. We could hack their economy, and it would actually have some benefit now because we are receiving value from them. But actually, I think this would be a good place for us to have a back door. It's a lot closer to all of Horatio's stuff. New hacking operations can start from this node. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get ourselves a back door. The Diuvians have come around to the glory of our empire. Let's see if they have a quest that would be easy to get. Ever since they can remember, the Diuvians have attached divine significance to a distant blood-red star in their night sky. To some, the star is a symbol of the crucible of fire that will one day consume the universe. To others, it is a symbol of the fire of creation. In either case, every year the Diuvians celebrate the star's existence through the Burning Light Festival, which lasts 3 whole days and nights. Now that the Age of Contact has come upon the Diuvians, they would be grateful if you could send a pilgrimage to the star, so that their most learned scholars can pay all their respects. It is true that we sometimes forget the incredible power of the fiery beacons that light up the endless darkness, that are the ultimate origin of all life. A pilgrimage for the Diuvians would be an honor. So if we search the curiosity in the Zakor system... Jesus, alright, well, I mean, we're gonna do it, but it might take a minute. I hope you're okay with me, making this a kind of a distant concern. Like, man, that's far away, man. That's really far away. So we are continuing, remember, as we bring these people over into the fold, we are continuing to acquire stuff. Even when we can't get them to flip over into our civilization right away, we're still getting value out of doing this. Alright, so we're studying those ruins over there. And any curiosity that we explore at this point could be the thing that flips the Diuvian, or the Cephaloros over to us. Oh, actually, they have a curiosity on their system. I'm going to have this guy turn around and grab that real fast. And our hacking thing completed, so we can now attempt to install a sanctuary, right? Oops, I didn't... Hold on a second. Click this thing. Click Start Hacking Operation. Then click the node. Okay. Hacking neutral systems allows you to place sanctuaries to establish galactic footholds. Let's figure out how that whole thing works. Okay, so I could place the program on a node. I kind of want to turn off our encrypt, right? Or is our encrypt not running anymore? No, it totally is. Do I click this? Right-click this to cancel it. Yeah, we're kind of getting close to our bandwidth cap, and I don't think the encrypt is actually helping us right now. Nobody knows where I am, or probably how to hack at this point in the game, so we don't really need to worry about that. Alright, so we've unlocked a new tier of things, and as excited as I am to get into this new tier of things, like I said, I think we probably ought to come over here and figure out what to do with our dust. So it's multi-thread management that lets you use dust to immediately buy out construction. It also gives us access to a unique improvement that should be pretty powerful. And then if we research 2 things in this tier, we'll unlock the ability to perform a system development on our system, which is a good thing. We need to get this. So probably we'll pick up a couple things over here. Be the first to have 3 unique star system improvements in your empire. So this is a challenge, like a legendary deed. Everybody can see this, and it's just a matter of who will actually do it first, and whoever does it first gets the reward. Jadonics is a pretty good reward. That's definitely enough to use Jadonics as our system booster, which we'll talk about when we get the access to it, but it's a lot of it would be a lot of extra influence for us if we did it right. So we're gaining access to 1 unique star system improvement. We also already know how to build one, so let's just put that in the queue. Maybe we could go for that. We might be able to get that Jadonics. Alright, what was our curiosity? It was the Adamantian Subassemblies module, which lowers a ship's chance to be targeted and gives it probes. That lowers chance to be targeted thing only applies in battle. It's not like it lowers the chance for other fleets to want to kill you. So, hopefully you don't need it a lot, because you don't really want ships with probes to be involved in battle very often. Do we actually want bandwidth now that I kind of understand what we're doing here? I'm thinking maybe I want that more than this dust boost. It's a significant amount of dust, no doubt. But there's a lot of ways to get more dust. I'm going to take the bandwidth boost. I think we actually care about this a little bit. Alright, we're going to get back here next turn and search that for them. How many turns are we? Oh, we hit Sirius. Okay, cool. Well, let's just search everything here. Huh. Usually this cutscene plays when you drop a colonization module on a planet. Okay, hold on. Let's process all of these. So first of all, we are cordial with the Calmat now. Neat. Secondly, a solo quest has started. What's going on here? An emissary from the Academy arrives, dressed formally. They only agree to speak or communicate in public venues while being recorded. This is no ordinary discussion. It appears that the head of the Academy is indisposed, and various organizations within the Academy are beginning to operate with a certain degree of independence. You are provided with a few names, a list, a small explanation, really a marketing brochure, on the Academy's structure and organization. Once the discussions are over, you place an encrypted call to the hero in your employ who is visibly uncomfortable. You understand, they say. We are beings of exceptional power. We are trained to seek only strength and knowledge, but some seek more, you finish. Yes, and there are associations, fraternities within the Academy. Theoretically, just clubs for heroes with shared interests. Those who seek power often use them for leverage, however. In research, training, exploration. None of this is shocking, though it makes you uneasy. But as long as they lack access to resources, you say, they're not a threat. At least not to friendly empires. Your employee nods as if agreeing and prepares to end the discussion. Then, at the last second, changes their mind. They add, remember that there are unclaimed places of enormous wealth out there, and everyone is starting to look at them. The transmission is terminated, leaving you curious and concerned. Alright, so we have a couple of options here. We do not have the mapping option available here. Interesting. Choice locked, need unique constellation. Alright, well, the choices we do have access to, we could investigate 10 new curiosities and earn the probe microfactory module, which makes our probes just Probe cooldown minus 100% sounds to me like it makes your probes regenerate instantly. It probably just means all of your probes refresh every turn, not that you have an infinite number of probes to fire at all times. Or discover 4 systems outside your constellation for the Scavenged Ram Scoop, which increases both the movement points of your ships and also the distance that you get to travel with each movement point. That's pretty neat. And we're actually, we're doing a pretty good job of this already. We're already planning to send a ship to another constellation, right? To meet up with those, to get over to those minor factions to the galactic south of us. So I think I'm going to take this one. It's not that hard for us to investigate 10 new curiosities, but honestly, I don't think this module is very good. We're already not really having any problems with probe quantity. So yeah, let's do this. We're going to seek these unclaimed places. Alright, we successfully discovered a battle tactic on Sirius 2. Recycles ships if fleet not destroyed, used in desperate situations. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a great thing. We also discovered that one of the planets in this system at first appears to be lifeless and poor in resources, but a second scan at higher power reveals that the entire planet is a hologram, and in fact there is something hiding beneath the cleverly constructed camouflage. Perhaps you can figure out just how the camouflage worked. If we do this, we will lose 10 science for 10 turns, obviously because we have people devoted to figuring out what's going on with this thing, but at the end of that we get a free technology. So, paying 100 science for a technology is actually a fantastic deal. We are definitely going to do that. It's going to take a while for this to bear fruit. But our current technology costs are more like 425, you can see there. So 100 science for a random tech is a pretty good deal, even though it could be something we don't actually want, right? Just like getting more technology is very good. We've discovered that Sirius 2 is a mineral-rich world. Yeah, this is a great system. Also, we got 150 dust that I don't know what to do with. Yeah, if we could actually colonize stuff, I would want to colonize this system. This seems very good. And we tied for first on atmospheric curiosity exploration. So we and the United Empire player explored 2 atmospheric curiosities each, and then Red got 1. So, free stuff for us. Pretty cool. And that leads to the beginning of this quest. No one is even sure of the origin of the being that founded the Academy, whether they are human, endless, alien, or some unknown form. All stories agree, however, that any being touched by dust who finds that secretive place and survives its rigors emerges deeply changed and greatly enhanced. A visit, a word with the leader, an understanding of why the Academy exists and what purpose it serves. There are many mysteries surrounding the Academy, and claiming it is either a place of research into dust or a profitable service businesses seems somehow a bit glib. The Academy appears to be located in one of 3 systems, based on the data from those curiosities. Visit those systems with a fleet and be the first to discover it in order to get 250 dust. I don't know that we care about this enough to put effort into it. Also, those systems are... I guess we're going in that direction anyway. Probably whoever is actually down here is going to get to those before we do, though. Alright, what else did we get from our exploration? A new battle tactic that gives us extra XP on our surviving ships if we lose a bunch of ships in battle. We simulated the Cephaloros because one of those curiosities was the one that fired this quest ending. Entering the lab complex, your expedition leader reports some grisly findings. Fluid trails, desiccated bodies, wholesale slaughter. The advanced state of decomposition of the victims suggests this happened long ago, only the sealed environment preventing complete deterioration. Whatever or whoever did this is long gone. You instruct your team to recover the dead to return to the Cephaloros. Well, that's unsettling, but Galaxy's a big place. Probably whoever or whatever will never find us. I'm sure everything will be fine. So, good news, we have assimilated these guys at Takim. They've given us control of their ships, which is neat. And doing that has moved our faction quest forward. Like the Pilgrim, the new creature is a curious organism. How it organizes its myriad parts into a cohesive, purposeful whole is a mystery. Many parts have fled for unknown reasons. In truth, it seems afraid of us. It offers precious materials, as if to appease us. I think the Umbral Choir revealed themselves to the Cephaloros when we took them over. Please, take our trees and don't hurt us. I started to see it in my dreams. Now every time I close my eyes, I see it too. It's alien, intangible, monstrous. A tangle of wraith-like limbs, writhing and expanding, getting ever closer, unrestrained by our reality, the notions of inside and outside meaningless to it. It snakes closer still, pauses, like it's studying me, and then it makes contact. I think it's inside me somehow, watching, waiting. The waiting is the worst thing. The endless relics mean nothing to me now. I fantasize about burning up in the nearest star and ending my horror. Now she's just confused. She doesn't understand all of the suffering that we're going to end. We reach out to the organisms of this galaxy, but the controlling mind gestalts remain silent, only interacting with their isolated puppets. These offshoots react to us with terror, unable to understand that we only wish to commune and cure this galaxy's suffering. And denied harmony without, we will remain fractured within. The Pilgrim offshoot exhibits baffling behavior. We know the Pilgrim organism seeks relics of a long-dead civilization, but this offshoot acts erratically, circling supergiants, then suddenly breaking off and drifting through interstellar space. Is it damaged? Corrupted? What are we missing? Choir grows more discordant as the galaxy stirs. We must grow more united. So, I really like this idea of the Umbral Choir being, like, fundamentally unable to understand the other races as being a bunch of different organisms. I think the writing in this faction is really neat. Alright, so we have to get our influence production up to 46 per turn. When we do that, we will get the Self-Surveiller. We'll get bonus influence from our cloaked fleets if we install this support module in them. 46 influence per turn is non-trivial. That's a lot of influence. It's a lot more than we're producing now, that's for sure. I don't know how we're going to get there. We'll figure it out. Let's have a look at our new system. What's going on here? So, this is marked as colonizable. This hosts a this is why we got that cutscene, because we now have a sanctuary here. What does that mean to me? Your sanctuary with 0 of 8. What do we... Sanctuary population is provided by the home system. So we could we move people here? We move our population points over here? Not getting enough tooltips. I need more information in these tooltips. Ships built on your home system will spawn in its hangar. In addition, new populations will be added to this sanctuary in priority. So I don't have a sanctuary link right now. But if I did, if I chose that as my sanctuary link, then new points of population would appear there instead of at our home? Is that what it's saying? How close are we to another birth? 3 turns? Alright, I'm going to press that button and we're going to see what happens. 3C75 sanctuary link leads here. Alright, so in 3 turns, we will or will not get some population here, and we will know what is up. Presumably. We will kind of know what is up. We will have some idea what is up. Alright, you have exhausted all the stuff to do there. I guess just head to Zinnius? What is this song? This is delightful. Oh, I can cloak these ships even though they're not ships that have cloaking... Right, because our other ships don't have cloaking modules either. It's just part of my faction. Yes, you are now cloaked. We will always be invisible. We will reveal our presence to no one, because every time we reveal our presence, people freak out and start screaming, and then they throw a bunch of trees at me. Alright, so this thing is all the way charged up. And it just sits there. It just sits there gaining us the benefit. We don't have to... My concern here was that it might be that the beacons burn out over time, and that we'd have to rebuild them periodically. But it's just a bandwidth limit thing, right? We can have as many as we can support with our bandwidth. So actually, the bandwidth boost skill on our hero is really good and valuable. Alright, I'm getting this. I'm starting to get this. This faction seems really cool. Alright, we can go a little bit further here this episode. So this is the election. Our people are going to vote how they're going to vote. We can throw our official support behind one of the parties and motivate people to choose that party. And we can see here the laws that unlock over time. So as your political parties win elections, they gain political experience. You can see sort of toward the bottom of that tooltip. Many of the laws require a party to have a certain amount of political experience, which is to say, a certain amount of elections won. And I'm not actually sure how it works if winning elections is just like, if I won the election is a set amount of XP, or if they gain XP based on the percentage or maybe even the raw number of votes that they got. But over time, parties that win elections gain political experience, and then they get more powerful laws available to them. As you can see, like, the top law of the Pacifist Party is really powerful. That's a lot of extra resources. That symbol, I guess I haven't talked about that, but that symbol there is all of the resources. The upper left quadrant of it is yellow, that's the dust. Upper right quadrant is green, it's the food. So that's pretty powerful. Make love not war is maybe not going to be such a big deal. A big part of approval management with most factions is that settling more systems causes approval problems eventually, but we're never going to have that issue. So it's probably going to be pretty easy for us to keep our approval in a reasonable spot. If we were to try to push the scientist party above, because they're surveying pretty close to each other in the polls. Yeah, the scientist laws are good for us too, but not, like, amazing. Yeah, let's stay behind the pacifist party, I suppose. They get my official support. Votes come in, 3 votes pacifist, 1 vote scientist. It turns out it's really easy to run an election, to run a whole democracy, when only 4 people get to cast votes. I bet there are very few issues on that ballot. Alright, we're going to create a sanctuary on Izar. This does not give us any information about that. I like these little movies. I'm sure these dudes will be happy to join the Gestalt, right? So, our manpower is low. The reason for that is that we have this empire-wide pool of manpower. And we use that manpower whenever we gain new ships, through building them usually, but also I think through taking them from minor factions, or whenever we take over a new system, manpower is diverted to those places because we just need a certain number of bodies to do the important stuff that needs doing, right? Piloting a ship is not actually a thing you can do with one person. It's not a two-hand sort of job. So, manpower is being diverted all over the place now to fill the sanctuaries and to fill, I think, these ships. Oh no, these ships have full manpower. Yeah, okay, so just to fill up the sanctuaries. And that manpower is what would defend our various systems if they got attacked. Enemies would come and drop manpower on the system to try to take it over. We would fight back with our manpower. Alright, what have we here? Oh, interesting. A source of adamantium. Well, these higher level strategic resources are obviously important. So we'd have to run another hacking job out here to grab any other systems. But we installed a back door here, right? Is this where we installed that back door? Also, this is a place where we have a sanctuary. We can probably just... Yeah, it looks like we can actually just run hacking stuff from sanctuaries anyway, even without a back door. But this does increase the hacking speed on nearby nodes. I don't know what nearby means, because it might just mean things that are adjacent via Starlane, but it also might actually be a measure of distance, right? It might be like nearby means this area, and so it's affecting a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we have an offensive hack operation that is headed to the pirates. It is being traced by another empire. What does that mean? Can I see... No, I don't really have any other information here. It looks like they're tracing it. The enemy is likely tracing you and may respond when the trace completes. Well, you know what? If the pirates get mad at us, what are they going to do? Yeah, they can't find us, so I don't think we're in any real danger here. Right, now that our scout has grabbed this, we're going to send him back down here. So what do we want to do with these new ships? We have these ships. I guess we could send them out to this constellation to discover some new systems, just push along that quest. They're really slow, though, relative to our current scouts. It'll probably be faster to have this ship reach Zinnius, search all the stuff here, and then jump over to that asteroid field. So I guess we could send these guys back to the home system just in case something does go horribly wrong and we get attacked. It's good to have some defenses in place. Yeah, I guess. We could have also left them here to defend the sanctuary, but I don't know if the sanctuary needs defense, you know? So we now have access to multi-thread management. We want one more tech here to unlock the ability to improve our system. So we can get xenotourism agencies. Not terribly great for us because we don't have a lot of planets with luxury deposits. Oh, you know what? The buildings we build here, I'm pretty sure we saw a tooltip somewhere that said the buildings we build here also affect our luxury planets. Okay, it's not... Ships constructed in this system will appear directly in whatever system we've selected as our sanctuary link. That's pretty cool. I'm still curious about the population point thing. Huh, it sure looks like we're going to have a birth next turn. I'm not sure why this says 38 turns until a new point of population appears. Also, we're still content at 66%. Oh, you know what? I think I was remembering the Endless Legend approval values when I was talking about how approval works last time. That's right. In this game, it's 30% and 70% are the barriers for content, I think. Which means that right now that law we're running is keeping us from being happy. The Cram Exam Act. So we would drop 12 science if we cut this law, but also we would increase our global science output by increasing our approval level. So right now, we're creating 233 science per turn. Let's cut that law. And now we're at 254, because while we lost 12 science, we gained 15% science output over the whole empire, which is significant. So, hold on. Do we want to run a different law in its place now? We do have access to this. We don't have peace or alliance with anybody, so this doesn't actually do anything right now. We could jump ourselves up to the highest approval level by running the Toys for Boys law. And the loss of industry is significant, but it's not a huge deal. We'd be able to get a lot of research done very quickly. And we could offset the loss of industry to some degree with all of the dust we'd be making. What does buyout cost? Oh, okay, buyout cost on this is significant. We are not anywhere near being able to do that. That said, we're still getting through this pretty quickly. Yeah, let's go ahead and run that law. The Empire Entertainment and Education Initiative. Sometimes known crassly as the Toys for Boys Act. Alright, it didn't even actually add a turn to intensive cultivation. So, now that we have 2 planets in the same system, we can freely move our population back and forth between them. Nexus has a better resource output than 3C75-2, but if we did put a point of population over here, it would go in one of the overpopulation slots, which will lower our system approval, which will lower our empire approval. However, it's only a couple of points, not enough to take us out of ecstatic. And then, obviously, as we continue to produce population here, we will want to move them over. I believe it is the case that the approval penalty for each successive slot is higher. So, like, this slot is way more than 2 points of approval. It would definitely pull us out of ecstatic. So if we had another birth here, we want it to go on 3C75-2, despite the lower resource output. So we could grab Astrofinance, like we were talking about, Atmospheric Filtration, or Galactic Commodities, giving us access to the marketplace. Yeah, okay, let's do that. We can make some dust by trading off our extra resources. We can buy some things that might be relevant to us. It is often the case that resource purchasing is not super useful, or at least luxury resource purchasing is not super useful, because you end up needing so much of each individual luxury that if you don't have a reliable source of it, you find yourself in a bit of a lurch. But since we'll only need to run each system development once, access to this part of the market might be super good for us. And if that doesn't make sense to you because you don't know how system developments work, don't worry. We'll fix that in 2 turns. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, let's get hacking. So we want to create another sanctuary, right? There's no sense in not creating these sanctuaries. We also could... We could send Hack out to other places. I want to create a sanctuary on Sirius. That's what I want to do. So we're going to run the job from Takim to Sirius. It takes 17 turns. Operation is passing through one or more of your back doors, so if a trace reaches the system they're on, they'll be detected and might be destroyed by defensive programs afterward. Interesting. And we are going to be running through a couple of occupied systems here, so the hack might get detected. We're still kind of grappling with the dangers and consequences of this system. Alright, so our point of population should have been born here, I think. Right? And we did not gain population here because we did gain it here. Okay. Where they are producing 8 food, 6 industry. You know, honestly, these yields are not bad. Neat. So we can remotely populate other worlds. And notice, the reason it's showing us the sanctuary like this is because we're not touching the normal population slots. I wonder if we can install sanctuaries on worlds that are already colonized by other players. Oh, this is all very, very interesting. Alright, let's go until the end of next turn, because I want to get access to the Galactic Commodities Exchange and talk about system developments. We've seen a market-wide increase in prices for luxury resources. Well, that's crummy. What a bad time for that. Oh, wow. Yeah, alright, we'll hang out here for a minute and explore all of this stuff. Oh dear, pirates. Well, they shouldn't be able to see us. So, Hadopelagic's life. Okay, that's a pretty cool anomaly. We got some dust out of that. We've also discovered some ruins. There are ruins in this system old enough and sophisticated enough that they must have come from the Endless. There are machines within machines, some of which are still running, and others that are so alien you're not sure how to tell if they're running or not. It will take time to investigate properly. That is, if you don't just take the dust and run. We could just take the dust and run. There's a 50% chance of creating a major political crisis, though. Or we could spend some time investigating and maybe discover something fun. Yeah, let's do this one. Also, scientist political ideology is good for us. I don't really want the militarists to get into power. In my experience, once they get in power, it's really hard to get them out. It's just another way that the game apes real life. Okay, so there's titanium and hyperium here. And a preliminary exploration of this ocean planet reveals only one thing: a screaming band of Yusho fighters who fire off an opening salvo of rockets before even attempting communication. Your repeated warning broadcasts do nothing to slow their advance. Your ships are entering defensive formation even as you give the command. Fight for your life. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fight these guys. We would get 50 titanium. That's not inconsiderable. But I'm not... Yeah, obviously we would lose that battle. We're just going to sit here and be invisible at them. It's worked for us so far. Why change anything now? Alright, how's this going? Oh, we should definitely praise these guys some more. Right, over here, yeah, we know what their thing is. We could spend some influence praising the Harmony, but their suzerain has changed. So we know that pink and purple are fighting over them. I have no interest in getting involved in that. Alright, let's run this final turn here and talk about system development. So we unlocked a new thing, ability to get system development. We've also revealed the Consolidator of Systems deed, which we know was already completed by another player, unfortunately. So, system developments. Sorry, the screen I want is this one. We now have the ability to modernize our system a little bit. You can see here, the luxury resources that we have, anything with an underline is something that we currently have coming in. So we can modernize our systems using the various luxury resources. For example, we could set this as a red sang booster and then pay 50 red sang to get 60 extra food generated by the system. That's a pretty high cost. What I would really love is if we could do this with the Jade Onyx and get all of that lovely extra industry. Let's use our new connection to the marketplace and see if we can't buy something interesting. So we would need 50 of whatever we get. We could pick up Dark Glitter, gain defense capacity and manpower. Enrollment rate. I believe enrollment rate is a new term. I don't think I've seen that before. I wonder if that's just a term they use to express the idea of the percentage of food that gets diverted to manpower. And then the Jade Onyx, which I would like because it's an awful lot of industry. Unfortunately, we just barely don't have enough of. But we could buy out the 49 that's here and then wait for one more to appear. We could go Red Sang because 60 food is not a terrible thing. Transvine just gives flat plus approval. Honestly, that would be pretty good if there was enough of it. So yeah, I guess it really comes down to Red Sang versus Jade Onyx. We don't have enough Red Sang to pop the booster right now either. If we bought all this stuff, we'd only be at 43. But we're bringing in 2 per turn. We're definitely guaranteed to get enough Red Sang to do it. We can buy all this Jade Onyx, but if more doesn't appear on the market and we don't get that legendary deed, we'll never have enough for it to matter. And actually, increasing our food output, I think it's probably reasonable to increase our food output with the first one of these. Obviously, food is better the earlier you get it. I mean, that's true of everything in a 4X game, but population is very valuable. Yeah, okay, we'll go for the Red Sang. So there's not really a good reason for us to buy this. We could just wait until the amount that we have on hand plus the amount in the market is sufficient to actually run the booster. Yeah, and maybe the prices will go back down by the time we go for purchasing. Alright, speaking of food being valuable, no, we still cannot rush the end of this. Alright, well you guys are just going to finish exploring here before we head off into the other system. What have we in these ruins? We have the design for a Plasmoid shielding module, which I think is better than the other shielding module that we found the design for. Or wait, did we find... I don't know. Whatever, it's a good shielding module. If we wanted to install better shields on our ships, we could. We should probably actually get some military ship tech. Just in case, right? So let's see, what are our other options? We could pick up the designs for the basic military ships. We could pick up a design for some more food systems. Xenobiology will give us Spin Project, which will let us specialize our planets for the production of influence and make it easier for us to unlock more heroes. But the thing is, we don't really need a lot more heroes, right? The thing you usually want a lot of heroes for is so that you can have as many governors as possible. We don't need more governors. Adaptive... Oh man. Adaptive Bureaucracies gives us access to a unique improvement that's pretty good in the one system we're allowed to have. Although I guess not all of our population will be in that system, will they? Because they'll be in the sanctuaries and stuff. But our buildings affect our sanctuaries. Don't they? Maybe? Do they? Hold on, we could probably actually figure that out. Okay, there it is. There's my loadout. 8642. We're producing 8643. Right, +1 from the fact that he's a... Yeah, never mind. So it does kind of look like we're not receiving the output of our buildings from the capital here. So then I would not expect Anarch University to apply to this population either. Which maybe makes it not... It's still good. It's still a good building. It still has approval attached to it. Still gives us more colonization ability. Still puts us on the path toward having an additional law slot in our government. You know what? since we're going to stop here anyway, I'm just going to take a minute and think about this. We could gain the ability to mine that adamantium deposit that we found out about. We could gain the ability to increase our economy even more, gain access to the other parts of the marketplace where you can buy units and heroes. But I am leaning toward picking up just like the basic military ship designs again, just so that if something wild does happen, we're ready to respond. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time when hopefully I've made up my mind. I said that there was going to be an episode of this series every weekday, and that is broadly going to be the case, but I am going to try to put out episodes Saturday and Sunday this week too, just that we can get really deep into the new mechanics and stuff. So, come back tomorrow to see if I made up my mind, and we'll see you then.